continuing with this Damian Lillard situation, the talk of the town. I see it all over my Reddit feed. We're seeing it on the text line, YouTube. Shout out YouTube listeners. What up, guys? Damian Lillard to Portland. Is that it? Let's start with, is it a reality? No. Let's start with, is it a good idea? And then we can talk about if it's a reality. Would it be a good idea to bring him in while he recovers on a 1-year deal and basically pay him to hang out at the facility and mentor young kids?
I think if, number one, Dame's going to take his time.
Sure.
Number two,
there's no rush for him.
No. Number two, I think he's going to sign a 2-year deal if he does go somewhere. So it'll be like a rehab tour and then
see how we do next year in the 2027 season. See how he can actually play
during the whole summer of Dame.
Mm-hmm.
I've been open about
the
this.
Summer of Dame.
It was 89 days of it.
I remember
from the trade request.
I lived through it. I am a P1 of this station.
I talked to him a lot during that summer, and even when it got messy, Dame lives here.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't move here. This is his home.
Yep.
He built a palatial estate that he had, custom built for him. Portland is his home. No matter what happens.
I love that.
When he comes back, he's going to live here.
Yeah.
He's going to be like a lot of guys have been that have stayed in town. Channing Frye met his wife and got married here. TP lives here. A lot of the alumni still live here. Like Uncle Cliffy lived here.
Cliffy.
Duck lived here.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jerome lived, like those. There's a lot of guys that, like
Brian Grant used to live out in Camas.
Yeah. And shout out PG. He was at Young Hanson's
fun
presser. It was so good to see him, man. He was in good shape and good
Great.
spirits. It was really cool to see him. But he wouldn't care me saying this. He has told me flat out that he wants to finish his career here.
That'd be great. And that's the question. Is this the time for it to finish the career? I mean, the Achilles at his age, it's not a good sign.
No,
not trashing the guy by any means.
But he can also.
I'm not going to say you're cooked.
He doesn't have to worry about finances at all in the next 2 years.
At all.
Like, it's taken care of.
You can be cap friendly. You can be whatever you want. And if you want to finish at his age, is a 2-year deal the last contract he ever signs? Potentially 2-year with maybe a team option.
Well, he's always told me he didn't want to be a guy that played into his late 30s, into his 40s. Like he was
looking bad.
Well, not just that.
If you look as good as LeBron, I'll play till 41.
But even then, he's always said, I don't want to be one of those guys that's just hanging on.
Yeah.
Now, things change.
And you might not be hanging on.
Yeah, but not even that. He was just like, when I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, there's not going to be a Karl Malone with the Lakers situation. He was like,
Gary Payton on the Heat?
Yeah, he told me flat out he didn't want to do that.
I don't think anybody really
but also,
wants to do that.
I think guys are hesitant to give it up because it's all they know.
It's all they know, yeah.
And I get that. And again, things change, and don't take like word as bond here because it could change for Dame. I mean, the Achilles injury changed everything for him. I don't know if where the Blazers are at right now, if it would make sense because they did just trade for Drew.
Yeah.
And they have to make a decision on Scoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in a grand roundabout way, like, personally, I would love for him to come back. But, like, I don't think that the fit makes sense for him right now, especially if he does want to go ring chasing. He has an opportunity here.
He's got about 3, maybe 4 years to chase a ring. And I don't know if that timeline is the Blazer timeline. I don't think 3 years is a Blazer timeline. No. I think 4 would be maybe a Western Conference Finals, maybe, but I think timeline here is more like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is you kind of look where this stuff is at, and you go, does it make sense for him right now? I don't think so, for either side. It makes sense. Now it makes sense for him to be home,
sure,
especially in the rehab portion.
He also doesn't need to sign a contract this year, like you said. He's got the money.
There could also be a team that goes into the season with some cap space, and he goes, you know what, this team is like, let's say a team just pops like a. I'm using Atlanta as an example, but don't take that. But like, the East is so wide open
Insanely.
Right now. Like what the Pacers just did this last year. If you get to one of those spots that you all of a sudden you get on that team and like you can be a dude.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, maybe if Charlotte finally pops. I mean, I'm just joking. That'll never happen.
Let's say Washington.
Yeah.
Let's say Washington wins the lottery next year and they get AJ DeBonsa.
Mm-hmm.
Like he ends up going, or Cam Boozer, whatever.
Yeah, they get the second or third and get a Cam Boozer.
Whatever guy, and all of a, let's say Koulibaly pops and Sarr takes a leap, and you're like, yeah, Bob Carrington's nice, but even old Dame at, let's say he's 23 a game.
Yeah.
He's 23-6. Like, he's still pretty damn good.
Well,
like, but I'm saying, like, what if one of those, and I'm just using these as examples. These are not teams that I believe are going to do that, but just
sure.
A team like the Pacers that, like, you're like, they're good, but like, they were really good. They've just, like, I mentioned this the other day. I have a new deeply held belief. One of them is if the Blazers hold on and beat the Lakers in Game 7, they win an NBA title.
They beat my Pacers.
They win an NBA title.
For sure. I think we all agree on that.
If Brandon and Greg are healthy, I believe they win a title.
With LA?
Yeah, I believe they win a title. My next one that I have added to this list, if Tyrese Halliburton is healthy, the Pacers win that game.
It felt that way. We talked about this all the time. Yep. It really felt that way.
And again, I'm not saying that to take away from the Thunder.
No, not at all.
It is the way Hallie was playing in that moment.
I was texting you. It was like, ugh.
Yeah, it was.
I went to the bar to watch the game, and that happened, and I was like, "Check, please."
Yeah,
because I was on vacation, and I was like,
I don't want to sit here and do this."
Yeah.
So, but if does one of those situations pop up for Dame, he has time to survey the market, and he doesn't have to worry about. He doesn't have to worry about the financial ramifications, anyways, because Dame is fine.
but we've seen some point guards age like that. Now I'm going to mention a couple names, and they play a lot better defense than Dame ever has. So he would have to. I don't necessarily say he has to change his game, but he would have to find the right situation. There are guys that aged and were still very impactful and very good. Chris Paul comes to mind. Darren Williams comes to mind. Mike Conley Jr. right now. Like, how valuable is he to that team?
Yeah.
And he's the fourth best player on that team.
He's 38 years old.
But maybe the most valuable.
Yeah.
Obviously Ant's the best, but maybe the most valuable because he's the old guy bringing it together. Drew Holiday, same situation. Like, can you find yourself in a position? Again, those guys play a little better defense than Dame does.
Not just that, it's the Vince Carter, Rudy Gay, like, yes, you've had an injury, but like you change your game, you mature your game, and you find a way to still thoroughly impact basketball.
Shane Battier played for 20 years.
Look, and you have to adapt and you have to change and all the things that kind of come with that. And that's what's going to be interesting for Dame because he was a guy that, while fast, quick, twitchy, he didn't necessarily rely on being the fastest or the quick. Like, nobody ever talked about him like John Wall, like getting coast to coast.
Yeah.
The fastest in basketball. Like that, even young Dame, when he dunk competition Dame.
Kyrie's finishing.
But it's about setup and understanding. And if you're talking about how guys get set up, Dame's probably one of the 5 best guys in the NBA. Like, it's move into counter move. It's IQ. It's feel. It's like, if I do this, they're going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. It's a decision tree matrix that he has mastered. He's told me so many times, like, do you know how many more guys in the league are more talented than I am? He goes, I just had to think the game better and differently and faster, and that's what I got better at. Because if you go and look at like his pick and roll data from college at Weber State, nobody ran more pick and roll than him. Nobody.
And nobody watched him run more pick and roll than anybody else.
And that was the thing, is like he became a film junkie, and Phil Beckner, who was his assistant and now his skills trainer, was at Weber State with him, and they put him in that position, and he was the most effective pick and roll guard in modern college basketball history. Like, he was that prolific at it, and that's why he ends up getting drafted where he does in the career that he has.
He's a Hall of Famer, top 100 player of all time. Well, we wish Damian a speedy recovery and all the best. And, if you see him walking around town, just give him some love. I would put the brakes on anything that's going to happen soon. I would be shocked if we hear anything in the near future. Obviously, the man's got a lot going on in his brain, but we wish him a speedy recovery.